Hey everybody, welcome 2023. It's Mark and Flo. Say hey, babe.
Hey guys.
God, she's cute. All right, yeah, it's been a while since we've made a video, so happy New Year. This is 2023. We're in early January. It's January the 8th, Sunday night here. Kind of nostalgic, and honestly, I was just watching. We were just kind of laying up, relaxing, watching videos. I'm like, we need to make a video. We hadn't made one in a while, so here we are. Hey,
Hey. Happy 2023, everyone. Definitely excited for the new year, new beginnings, new journeys. 2022 definitely had a lot of impact, things going on, happening. But pray that everyone is, just ready for many a new start, um, new beginnings for many, and just, cu- excited, curious also on the other hand to see what 2023 has to hold.
yeah, I am really excited, and we were kind of talking about what we wanted to talk about, and quite honestly, this is a video more that's kind of about capturing a moment more than having an agenda. But I did want to kind of there's a theme that's been on my mind in 2023. Again, what I would like to see more of and what I'm striving for is more communication that leads to cooperation. Again, we're always talking about relationships, and there's a difference between the conversation about relationships that's happening kind of out here in the social media world, and then the communication we have about our relationship and what things are going on. But I see there's a disconnect that I think I would like to kind of pull back, is because there is an agenda, honestly, I think, to keep people separated, especially as men and women, especially in our community. And I think if we'll kind of step back and realize that we're kind of all being played against each other, we can figure out how to work together to really get the problem solved. What do you think?
Totally agree. Mark and I, it's funny because our relationship, we have a great relationship.
Yes.
Um what we do, I since I've been with him, I never really watched like a lot of YouTube and uh as far as YouTube influencers that are on and the conversations that they're having. But that's one thing I think a lot of our big conversations come because he knows I'm very passionate about certain
Very
things.
passionate.
Um, and just some of the people that he watches, I respect people's opinions and what they have to say, to each his own. But sometimes I think it's difficult, and I have to separate our relationship from the things that they state, because I always tell them, or I'm always speaking to Mark saying, I just feel like there's a lot of finger pointing. But at times, sometimes it seems like it's towards the woman, what we should be doing, what we're not doing, why it's hard for us to get a man, the struggles we will continue to have. And again, I always tell Mark, I get it. Both sides have things that we have to deal with, work on, um, communicate, talk about. But I think when we look at YouTube influencers, um,
Love you, YouTube.
them basically just bringing both sides and trying to have the conversation together, because it seems like when we're trying to have separate conversations, to me it looks like it's more of a back and forth finger pointing than ways to come up to a solution.
Yeah. And it was funny because I had this picture in my mind earlier this morning when we were talking. Imagine, you were hypothetically, and you were standing on a corner, and a fight broke out, and you got shot, right? And you were rushed to the hospital. You go to the emergency room, and you're in the emergency room with a gunshot. Your life is like literally hanging in the balance. But you have somebody telling you, "Hey, calm down," because they're having a heart attack. And it's not that you wouldn't care about their heart attack, but you're fighting your own issue. You have your own traumatic situation. The person who's talking to you is having their own traumatic situation. And because both of you are in a place of trauma, you really can't hear each other because you're so concerned with your own trauma that it blinds you to be able to hear the impact of other people's trauma at the same time. And I think that's why our communication has been so easily um misrepresented to keep us divided, because we, at the end of the day, we need each other. Like, we need men and women to get together, we need community, we need family, and we need a code and a culture. But this us against them kind of mentality that men and women have in relationships, like, sometimes I feel like she'd be throwing like some subliminal jabs at me because of some of the stuff that be on the YouTube streets. And I'm like, that's out there. We got our own thing between us. But do you think, and I asked this question earlier, do you feel like women are criticized more than men in the media? And like women, do women go through more stuff than men go through?
I think it can go both ways, as I was explaining to Mark. I know with men and just a lot of the things that they deal with and go through, as I explained to him, I get it.
We go
But
through stuff.
women, we go through a lot too,
Yeah.
especially nowadays, and, single moms or, wives. Girlfriends that, again, that are maybe working multitude of jobs, having families, trying to come home, keep the family structure going, dealing with stuff, at work, just a lot. And I just think that both parties do. It just looks different, um, in what that looks like. So to me personally, again, I could see guys saying, well, no, we go through more than, but I think as women, we do too. It's a lot on our plate and a lot of things that we're dealing with and going through. I was explaining to Mark, 2022 for me was more difficult than usual. Um, and usually people that know me or whatever see me as a beat, I'm the strong one, the social butterfly.
She she
Um,
be she be like on 10 all the time. She's like the life of the party everywhere she goes.
and I still am. But I think some people started to see like there was just a lot going on and just trying to keep it together, and keep it, you know, where I still looked to others. Because I'm just that type of person. I really don't like to show my cards. I want to make sure that I'm there for others and I'm the strong one and just checking in on everyone and not really showing my hand. But this past year, I had to show my hand a couple of times, and it definitely was hard because sometimes I think my pride gets in the way, but I was very thankful too because the people on the other end were very subceptive. They were very caring. They were there. And so it really helps me get through, some hard times, along with Mark, and just everyone else. So again, I know for 2022, for many, that's why I'm like, let's sweep out all of that toxic negativity, strains, um triumphs, tribulations, obstacles. And again, I know it's easier said than done, but I always say moving into a new year is what you bring to it. So you get to decide what it looks like for you. So that's why I said 2023 for me is going to look completely different.
I'm so proud of her. She is amazing. And this is having lived as long as I've lived. I understand seasons and patterns, and we all go through them. And you can tell a lot about somebody by how they handle the different seasons of their lives. some people don't handle the low seasons as well as they handle the high ones. Some people they're not able to stay steady and consistent. Um, Now there is a balance to it because again, you're still human.
Mhm.
Sometimes we get so used to being that strong one for everybody that we don't know how to put our armor down sometimes and take a breather and let other people come in and actually kind of replenish us, because that's the benefit of all the cross pollination that you do. Like you have such a diverse and eclectic group of friends and people who literally are like family with you, that all love you, respect you, and want to see you thrive. And you've poured into them in so many ways that when they get the opportunity to pour back into you, like that's an amazing network and resource that you have. So to see you hold all of that up, even with all the personal stuff that you deal with, like it's been, you've held it together, made it look good. You've done it gracefully.
Thanks, babe. Now
Uh,
back to the conversation. So, what are
yeah.
your thoughts? What do you think? Who struggles?
Um, I honestly, this is where I think two things can be mutually exclusive and mutually true. Like both be true at the same time. We've kind of talked about this. Some people have like a zero sum attitude about life. If it's either it's my way or no way at all. If you're not in agreement or alignment or only see my way, like no other thing can be true other than yours. And to me, that's a very um closed, my confrontational way to think, because there's so many variables in life. Like I honestly, I know women go through a whole lot of shit. So, some of it is there's no explanation, reason, or logical explanation to say they deserve. Some things are just brutally unfair that women have gone through. I acknowledge and recognize that. And as a father of three daughters, somebody who's had a mother, who's had sisters, like I care about what happens to women as a man. That is true. I can also say, as a man, we too go through a lot of shit.
Mhm.
And just because we go through shit doesn't make the things that women go through any less.
Mhm.
At the same time, just because y'all go through things doesn't make what we go through any less.
Sure.
And I think getting to that level of communication to where it doesn't feel like an attack or a threat when we make bring attention to our grievances or our side or our point of view, it doesn't take away from the validity of yours. Both things can still be true at the same time, even if it means we have to look at ourselves and hold ourselves accountable for how we participated in it. It still is okay to recognize another point of view without losing validity in your own.
Agree. Okay.
So I think that would be something that I am looking to see happen more in 2023 in conversations, even in ours. Like we've had some really passionate conversations, and sometimes I've just had to really stop and just listen and analyze and think how how can I learn to take these experiences and use them to create an environment where communication is seen as a way to achieve cooperation at all times. It's not combat.
All right.
Because sometimes communicating with people does feel like combat,
Yeah, okay.
especially because I talk on the phone all day at work. But you know, like because you talk to a lot of people, you know, at work, your
Mhm.
students, and like there's some conversations where you literally feel drained
Mhm.
after having them physically.
Mhm. For sure.
And some like they get you hyped, like you be like you get inspired, or you be like, I might have to fight. We ain't gonna say no names. We ain't gonna say no names. But again,
Mhm.
um, I'm really excited about what I see opening up in 2023. The momentum is picking up in a lot of ways. I know for me personally, on the professional side, some things are really starting to grab hold and get some traction. Um, and I'm so I ain't gonna lie, I really enjoyed my time today with my daughter, with Cam. Oh God, I am so proud of her.
Important. She's a senior, beautiful young lady,
Oh God, my Cam
grown and
is.
gorgeous.
Oh,
So, having soon, with many parents, it's that senioritis,
ooh,
getting ready to kick in. Again, every year we always say, okay, it's not gonna, starting off slow. Things will kind of be a little snail. Next thing you know, you're like, oh my God, like we're almost to summer. Oh my God, we're almost to Christmas. So
yeah.
time definitely does not stand still. But it's awesome to see a lot of um, beautiful things ahead, accomplishments, graduations, marriages, babies, all that good stuff. So
Yeah. So, been a really exciting time. Mhm. I got so many things on my mind. I'm thinking about. I want to keep this video very I don't know, inspiring, encouraging. Like I've got so many things on my mind. There's so many things. I think.
his mind thinks like a mile a minute. So he always has 50,000 things going at one time. That's why when he wanted to get on, I was like, what do you want to talk about? Because again, he's always thinking of just different things as a whole. So
I'm thinking about how much I appreciate and how much I love you. Um, God, 'cause I really want to kind of go back to some of the relationship stuff because we've talked. It's like we'll be watching videos and we'll pause and stop. We'll have a whole conversation
whole
about one
conversation.
thing. Um, like what? Like I know there was a video earlier that we talked about, like with the single mom thing.
So one thing Mark and I was talking about, one of the YouTube influencers, this was probably like a week or so ago, and they were talking about women who decide for whatever reason, whether just a lot of different bad relationships, not finding the right person, deciding to want to have children, but children on their own. And so Mark and I were talking, and last week when he said it, I stated to him, as a woman growing up, thinking of just relationships, wanting to be married and having kids, my mindset at the time was kind of like that too. If I can't find the right person, I still would love to have children. And so he stated,
While I understand the natural desire, I personally believe that if you as a woman decide that you want to have a child but do not want to be a wife, that is a selfish decision because statistically we know and naturally we know when a child is raised by a single parent, they are disadvantaged in many ways. And even though it fulfills your personal desire to be a mother as a woman, you are setting that child in a disadvantaged position as a person for their life. And that's my thought process behind not thinking that that's a wise idea. I wouldn't advise any of my daughters to take that route. I would always advise to wait until you find a man who will be committed to you to help raise that child, because you understand, as a mother, raising a child is not an easy task. It takes both a mother and father together. Even if there is a man who is physically, quote unquote, there, but if he's not present and engaged and helping, that's still no better.
and that's what I explained to him. What makes it different than parents who get divorced, mother and fathers who, or men and women who decide, they got pregnant, but this relationship wasn't about being together. It was just about the relationship. Now they don't get along, they don't talk. There, different things are happening, problems, toxic thing going on. So I said, what makes that any different? Because a mom at least decides to be a mom, at least with that type of shelter, it's motherhood where you still can pick and choose what happens in that child's life. As I explained to him, when you look at society now and relationships nowadays, with so much going on, I would call it foolery, cheating, disrespect, people deciding that they don't want to be in relationships. Many women, at as we get to that certain age, our biological clocks are ticking. And so many women are trying, and if by a certain age they haven't found that person, I was explaining to Mark, you're not just going to pick somebody to be, well, yeah, let me just pick you. Again, not unless people, like I was explaining to him, my friends that chose another friend to kind of, but there was communication and there was an understanding. But I was explaining to him, I asked, I was just like, what makes it different than two parents who are not together, who don't have great communication, who, are fighting and arguing, who don't see the children? That person or that mom is still a single mom. She's just a single mom with a guy or with her ex. Um, and whether, it may not be a great situation. So that's still a mom who is being a single mom. She's just in with somebody that it just may not be a good situation to be in or with.
When it comes to the life decision of childbirth, to me, and this is personal, um, the the sanctity of life to me is so important, so critical. There's something very powerful as a woman, the ability that nature has given you in bringing life into the world. Like to me, this is the highest privilege and honor
Mhm.
as a woman that you have. This is something men cannot do. This is only something that you as a woman can do, right?
Mhm. Correct.
Is that in a, I guess, a significant and defining factor as a woman?
So for some women, yes, there are some women who honestly have chosen they don't want to have children. They never wanted to have children, and that's not their path. But many women who do want children and kids, yes, that's a huge defining factor to who they are as a woman.
So would you say, because again, like there's the rule and then there's the exception. There's the general that would normally apply to most, and then there are of course going to be the outliers.
Mhm.
But would you consider the rule, the standard that most women would understand how important that role as a woman is and how significant bringing life is
Mhm.
and how necessary it is?
Yeah,
Is that not an important decision?
it's a very important decision.
So if it is an important decision, what I personally struggle with just looking at the outcomes that we have, it doesn't seem like we respect the selection as women of who you allow to decide to give access to that gift. Because instead of learning how to cooperate with the man who will commit to you before you give that most ultimate gift, like this is like you will have women will have children from men that they won't find worthy of committing themselves to.
Some women, right. And some women, like I explained to you, when you have men that are saying one thing but doing another, and you're assuming that you're in a great relationship, you're having kids, regardless of if you're married or not, but we have an understanding and we think that this is going to go the extra mile and it doesn't.
Right.
So now we're not together. And now I'm still, again, a single mom or a single dad. So
And
that doesn't
and,
mean
and
that
and is that would you say that's the expected outcome with most situations with men nowadays as a woman?
it's not the expected outcome, but it's a huge outcome that is continuously happening.
And there's no way to guarantee that that won't happen.
No, it's no way to guarantee it. I think those that truly want to be in relationships, that's what you're hoping for. A healthy, committed relationship,
Right.
where there's communication, there's respect, there's transparency, there's genuineness, and that, hopefully we're in it to win it. Are relationships perfect? No relationships are perfect. So you would hope that through whatever issues we're having, we could at least talk through those, fight for our relationship to continue to help it move and grow. But again, for whatever reasons, as we know, things happen in relationships that for some people they choose it's time, for me to walk away or leave.
So would you say that choosing to do it on your own by yourself is the ideal way to go?
No, I
Okay.
think everyone would hope to stay in a relationship with the person that they decided to have children with. But again, for reasons, different reasons, it just may not happen that way.
Yeah, may not. But again, I think um like there's probably gonna be maybe a generation or two that is literally gonna have a I don't want to say a revolution, but parts of our culture are gonna have to change the way we do life as a community. And it's like they're gonna have to be a lot of people who are willing to just stand in the gap for the sake of community and sacrifice a portion of their lives to make sure that the community has a chance to survive with some type of structure, culture, and dignity, integrity in the end. Because we're honestly, I was coming out of 22 feeling very pessimistic about the outcome that I'm seeing because of the overwhelming amount of negativity that you see when it comes to our relationship situation. But when I do still get a chance to just talk to everyday people, like whenever we go out and I'm out and about, I'm still reminded that when you actually talk to real people, they're not as bad as you think they might be if you listen to what's being said on the internet all the time.
True.
So I still have faith in people. And I know what I'm putting out is positive, good karma. Like I'm really committed to that. And I know that as long as I keep my frequency consistent, I'll connect with the right people.
Yep, that's what it's about for sure.
And but I am looking forward to doing a lot of great things. And yeah, this is gonna be a great year for us. It's gonna be a lot of it's gonna be a lot. See how she looking at me side eye right now?
It wasn't on purpose, but I was listening.
Look, I was looking at. Oh my gosh, she side eyeing the shit out of me. It's gonna be a good
Ah,
year for us.
it is, baby.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Okay, well, I guess
What?
I'll be good. I'll be good. Um, I guess we won't drag on too long. Anything else you would like to say, baby? My sweetheart.
Mm-mm. No, just excited for 2023. Like I said, for everyone.
Dun, 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 dun. 2023 is going to be an amazing year. And again, if you watch this video, I really do. I want to
Mhm,
encourage you. I hope you feel the love.
mhm.
Um,
I just want to say, again, with so much that's going on, just remember, and many comedians and people, from influencers to social media to just regular people in general, give people flowers while they're here. So much is happening. Many people, are dying, and just so many tragedies, triumphs, that is happening. And so, really, just embrace today, create memories with, your children if you have them, your grandchildren, in your relationships, family, friends. Be thankful, let them know how you feel and check in on them. Even the strongest, um, could be truly going through something. So, just reach out and ask how they're doing and what's going on. um, with many of my friends who I haven't seen probably like in 10, 15, 20 years. We still, have our communication, but like I tell many of them, it's time for us to see each other, get back that bond, but really just love on one another, encourage each other, uplift one another, deal with those difficult times. They will come. Life is not perfect. It's not always, like I tell my students, glamour, glitz, and gold. So you have to be prepared and ready, and it's how you handle different obstacles and situations that come your way. But really just embracing life, being thankful, grateful, humble, and appreciative. But, really building your village, your family, your friends, the people around you that you truly love and care about, is really important. Tomorrow is never promised. Um, and so, when I look at myself, and my children and my grandchildren, my relationship with people that I love and adore, I'm just thankful, so grateful each day. With being 50, it's like, oh my God, just adding on time. But, just like my daughter gave me a cup, 50 and fabulous, 50 but 20, still ready to roam, uh,
she talking that
have
shit. She be
fun,
going to sleep early. She.
cause he giving me tequila that make me sleep. Oh, we can fix
I don't know what she mean by that. She is fabulous, though. She
that.
is fabulous.
But just enjoy, live, laugh, live, laugh, love. That is my motto. I have it in my office. I live by it. It's just definitely a need. And I've watched some friends really go through some stuff. So, when I looked at 2022 and some of the stuff that I was going through, it did not, add up to what others were truly going to. So overall, definitely just blessed, thankful, and appreciative. But you guys be blessed.